Hey, y'all. This is Dr. Carr, the Culture Docent, here to help you navigate and curate the experiences you want to have. So, today we're going to be getting into re entering the workforce after a period of time away. So, we always see those signs, no reentry allowed. Well, that is completely wrong for if you're trying to get back into the workforce. And this, thought has actually been kind of in my mind for a little bit. As many of you know, I offer individual and group coaching through Carbonated Sunshine. But I recently spoke with a potential client. We're doing our intake, and she was looking to come back to work after 5 years away from the workforce. So she was a stay-at-home mom with her kids, and fortunately had the support to do so. So, many of us do not always have that. So love that she was able to do exactly what she wanted. But there comes a time when she has reached that time where her kids were actually going off to middle school, and she felt like this was the time for her to actually come back into the workforce. So she wasn't really sure how to go about that, and if she would actually have to start all the way back at the bottom at that more junior entry level and then work her way back up. So the answer to that is no. By the way, you do not have to do that. But I'm going to share a little bit with you today, kind of brief truncated version of what I would do in one of my coaching sessions or a longer, series of sessions to really share how do you re-enter the workforce? What are some of the things that you should be thinking about and considering? And so you do not have to go in the order that I'm presenting them, but you do need to do all the steps that I'm sharing with you. So number one, I would say is to actually reestablish or establish. So I put re in parentheses, right? So establish or reestablish your goals, your career goals. When you left the workforce 5 years ago, you may have had a plan for, okay, so I am going to be, a VP. I'm aiming to become a managing director. I'm aiming to embark on my own, have my own salon, have my own studio, have my own space, right? And during that 5 years, some of those things might have changed for you. So now that the thought process isn't really around just how do I get to that next level, it might be, well, I want to be at the level that I was before, and I think that's perfectly fine. Or, if you're considering still like, okay, well, I'm still want to be at home, right? Or I really am focused on my work-life harmony. I like being able to travel or be there to pick up the kids or be able to go visit parents or aunties or uncles, right? Whenever I want to. So maybe part-time or fractional work seems more appropriate for this time in your life. It's okay that you're thinking about different things. Your career trajectory does not have to be linear. It can be however you want it to be. So keeping that in mind, right? I'm actually going to put a little pin in that because I want to just touch on if you are thinking about doing a career transition, all of these steps are still applicable as you're thinking about like your goals and things like that. But when you're thinking about a career transition, you're going to have to add a little bit more into it. So maybe you're coming back into the workforce, but you're thinking about coming into a completely different industry or a different field than you were before. And so when you think about what those goals are going to be, you're going to have to curate and craft some goals that make sense for that career trajectory, right? It's not going to be the same sort of steps and patterns, or maybe similar, but it may not be the exact same thing if you are making a transition. And keeping in mind that, you may have to start at more junior levels if you are transitioning into something that is completely out of the realm of what you were doing before. So just, want to caveat that, having that in mind. But if you're coming back into a similar field, similar work, you really do want to establish what those goals are for yourself. So if it's part-time work, contract work, if it's going back to your old organization because you like the structure and you like the people that you work with, right? If it's going back to that same industry, but maybe a competitor, right? And you have to learn a little bit about what it takes to move through those spaces. If you're towards the end of your working career, you're planning to retire in maybe the next 5 years, but you do want to work for the next 5 years before you retire, right? Then what do those goals look like for you? What do you hope to achieve during that time? That's where I really think, I would say start there when you're thinking about making that reentry back into the workforce. But again, you don't have to. It's just one of the steps that you're going to need to take. Step two, or number two, right? You need to re-engage with your network. That is going to be customers, clients, colleagues, people that you were working with before, right? People that tangentially are involved in the work that you do. All of those people are within your network. So you can stalk people on LinkedIn, but don't let it be just following them on LinkedIn and they're like you feel like you have some sense of what's going on with them. Actually connect with them. Actually reach out, ask for the coffee chat, ask for the email exchange, the time on the calendar, whatever that looks like for a connection for you. But because if you just try to use the LinkedIn, or if you try to use whatever other social media platform, or try to just ask friends how they're doing, that's not really giving you insight. And it's also just kind of weird, right? You really do want to connect with them. You want to be able to ask questions. And please, 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 y'all, make sure that you are honest and upfront about why you're connecting. Do not try to obfuscate, your intentions or hide them, because then it makes it weird when you do want to ask for them to pass on your resume or to connect you with someone else. It makes it strange, because now you're like, oh, you told me you wanted to like catch up, but really you have this ulterior motive. Put your motive up front. People are willing to help, and they're much more willing to help if they know how they can help you. Okay. So just let them know that, hey, I'm thinking about reentering into the workforce, or I'm trying to come back to the old organization, the old hotspot, right? Or I'm trying to go to the competitor. I'm trying to embark on my own. I'm trying to set up my new studio, right? Let them know, and then always have a plan of how they can help you. Okay. Don't come to the situation just kind of wanting to shoot the breeze, because that's also just, everyone's time is valuable, including yours. So just be mindful and intentional in how you're using that time. Reentry workforce conversations are not the time to shoot the breeze. You can schedule other time to do that. You can meet for coffee or whatever, or go hang out at a different time. That is not this time. This time is, you want to be very direct. You want to be very intentional about what it is that you're trying to get from this conversation, how the other party can help you, and how you can help them, right? So if there's something that, you want to, you're trying to get back into your old studio, right? And now you have the space because you're embarking on your own. If it's colleagues, if it is old clients or customers, don't try to poach customers, y'all. Don't move shady. Don't try to poach people, but you can let them know that you are available for business, right? And if they're trying to work with you, then you're available to have those conversations. Make sure you go about that in the right way. If they were your former customers, they may be excited, right, that you're coming back, and that they may be happy with the service that they're receiving, but also remembered what it was like to work with you. So just something to keep in mind. Don't poach customers, don't poach clients, but definitely make it clear what you're offering and what it is that you're trying to do. Maybe there's some more conversation to be had, especially if they are having any challenges or potential pain points, right, with the people that are servicing them currently. All right. So 3, I would say research the market and current industry trends. Okay. So what you left 3 months ago, 6 months ago, 10 years ago is not the same as it is today. Everything moves that quickly, and you need to do your research. Y'all hear me say do your research in a lot of different episodes, because it is so critical that you come to these spaces informed, okay? Help you help yourself. Help other people help you by being informed. If you need to understand, maybe some of the technology has changed. Maybe people are actually using AI quite often within the workplace now. And so you actually need to understand how they're using it. I'm not saying that you have to use it yourself if that's not something that you're comfortable with, right? What I'm saying is that you need to understand how that may be being used within the industry and the field, the organization that you're looking about getting back into. Maybe everyone has moved on from some of the other systems or databases that you've used previously, and you are going to have to acclimate yourself to what is being used now. Okay. So that could easily be something like something that, I don't want to use brand names, but maybe a CRM tool. So how your customer relationship management, you need to get, an understanding of what that looks like. Reconnecting with your network, reconnecting with colleagues will help you do that. Go to conferences that you can afford, right? I'm not saying, go spend a bunch of money on conferences, but if it's aligned to your career field, to your industry, maybe try to go to some of them, make connections there. That'll also help you do research so you can see what's kind of new, what's kind of popping now within the organization, within that realm, so that you can be better prepared. You can also, of course, read a bunch of articles. Also consider getting a certification. If you know you've been removed for a while and technology has really taken leaps and bounds in the time that you've been away, some of the basics are still the same, but there may be new things, new approaches. Even if it's not the technology aspect, things within organizational science is change all the time. So what frameworks that were popular before may not be the framework that people are using now. And so just being abreast of that and doing the research is going to help. And I will also say, as you're reestablishing your career goals, thinking about your network, researching the market, any current industry trends, make sure that you are aligning your past experiences and your recent experiences with the skills that are necessary for the roles that you're seeking. So do not think that, you have nothing to offer. That's again why I say you do not have to start at the bottom. If you are not at the bottom, you don't have to start at the bottom. So think about all of the things that you've been doing. Think about how that's going to translate. Re-engage with your networks and talk with them to see how those skills translate to the things that they're doing now, where they're at now, the space that you're trying to occupy, because that will also give you just a more informed sense of how you're supposed to maneuver this new re-entry into the workforce. Number 4, you need to make a plan. Okay. And when I say make a plan, you're going to be doing all these things. All of this is a part of your plan, but make a plan on how you intend to achieve said reentry. And keep in mind, your plan should always include timelines and buffers for your timelines. Sometimes things shift to the left or to the right? Sometimes things are going to come up earlier and you're thinking, oh, well, I thought I was going to have 3 months, but there's this role on the table now. I really need to take it because this is exactly what I was looking for. Or maybe I was expecting to be, kind of doing the search for 6 months, and really it's looking more based on the industry that it's going to take me 9 to 12 months to get back into this realm, right? We've seen the layoffs, we've seen how, Black women are being sidelined, right? Like just thinking about that. That's why the research is important, because it will inform your plan. Make sure that your plan, again, is going to be something that's flexible and realistic for you. Your plan has to include the people that are most important to you besides yourself, right? And so if it's just you can move how you want to move. That's a part of the plan. If the plan includes a spouse or children or adult caretaking of parents, right? Then that is also something to consider. Your plan needs to think about you need to incorporate whether or not you would be open to relocating for a role. If it needs to be a remote role, and it has to be that way, right? You're ready to get into the workforce, but you have some considerations and your work-life harmony is more important and you need to be at home for whatever reason. Or you're like, I've been at home for 10 years. I want to be in the office. I miss being in the office. I miss connecting with people in that way. Your plan is to incorporate, what it looks like to work in a hybrid or, all the time in the office. So just again, keeping those things in mind, because this is part of your plan and you have to work the plan, right? And so if you are establishing your career goals, that goes into the plan, what your goals are, re-engaging with your network, the people that you've spoken to, the people that you want to speak to, the people that they can possibly connect you to, the conferences you're going to go to, the certifications that you're going to get, the courses that you're going to take, the articles that you're going to read, goes into the plan. The market and industry trends, what do? They go into the plan. Okay. So make your plan, work your plan. And then lastly, I would say you're going to do this all the time. I want you to do this all the time. I'm going to encourage you to do this all the time, no matter what we're doing. Give yourself grace. Give yourself grace, y'all. One, there is always a shenanigan going on. I am, again, very tired of living in unprecedented times. I would like some precedented times. However, the world that we live in is the one that we live in, and I have to operate in that space. And I encourage all of you to give yourselves grace as you are working through all of this, especially if you're trying to do something that is actually really difficult, whether you have all the steps or not. Getting back into the workforce can be something that is trying mentally, physically, spiritually, but you can do it. It is not impossible. And so give yourself grace. If your plan kind of falls apart in the way that you weren't expecting it to, give yourself grace. And don't think of the break that you had as a setback. It is not. There's nothing wrong with taking a step back, whether you left the workforce voluntarily, involuntary, whether you wanted to spend more time with family, loved ones, or travel, or you're like, look, I am, I need a mental health break before I break somebody, right? Those are real. That's a real circumstance. Whatever it is, your reasons are your own. And so don't ever think about this as a setback. You were supposed to take that break when you were supposed to take it. And so now take all the things that you've learned during that break and apply them to how you're going to re-enter, because there's so many things just through life experiences on our day-to-day that we can apply to other areas of our lives. So just make sure that you are giving yourself grace. Okay, y'all? And a little bit of a bonus, I would say, is just be thinking about, as we're talking about re-entry, you cannot think about an entry without thinking about an exit. How you exit matters. Okay. Trust and believe that people are going to be talking about how you left. If you didn't leave with a real notice, if you didn't set up your replacement for success, if you changed all the passwords so nobody could access any of the spreadsheets without you, right? Like, people are going to remember that. And why you left, how you left, right, is really, again, your business. I completely understand there's some times where it's like, I'm not condoning violence, but I would probably burn this place down if I could on my way out, right? That type of feeling, I get it. Trust me, I get it. However, you need to exit in a way that preserves your own integrity, that preserves your brand reputation, okay? Because that's all you are, right? That's what people remember about you. And even, we're not doing this for other people. We're not doing this because people talk, because they're going to talk anyway. We're doing this because it's for us. It's for our peace of mind. It's for us knowing that when I left in a way that if I wanted to, I could come back. I don't want to, or maybe I do, right? Depending on your situation. But if I wanted to, I could, because of the way that I left that situation. I didn't burn no bridges, or even if I had to burn a bridge, right? Like, there is some workaround to someone else. It is just being mindful of how you are leaving just for yourselves. Okay. So make sure that you're exiting in a way that preserves your integrity. All right, y'all. That it was a lot, but a brief amount. So again, make sure that you're doing all of these steps. Doesn't matter what order you go in. It's up to you. Give yourself grace. Think about your goals. Think about how you're going to re-engage with your network. Actually, if you never stop engaging with them, you want to re-engage, but that's a different conversation for a different day. But just make sure that, you're talking with them, researching the market, making your plan, working your plan, and giving yourself as much grace as you possibly can. Okay, y'all? So today's carte blanche, CARRTE, blanche, is very short and sweet, I would say, because, it's my show. I can do and talk about whatever I want. But for carte blanche, please, y'all, make sure that you are celebrating Women's History Month. Okay? That's all I want you to do for a carte blanche. I just want you to be intentional in how you are celebrating women around you, including yourself, if you are one, and that's how you identify, right? Celebrating the women presently, the women throughout history, the women that will come later, right? And their contributions, our contributions to the world that we're living in. I really want you to celebrate them. International Women's Day is going to be in March. This year, it's always in March. I want to say March 8th. Sorry, y'all, I can't think of the exact date right now, but I want y'all to do something intentional. That means patronizing women-owned businesses. That means reading books by women. That means viewing and consuming art by women, whether that is listening to it, whether that is going to a museum about it. You're taking it in. I want you can go to a conference, you can listen to a webinar, you can go to a speaker series, you can go to another event. Center women this month. and really take in the lessons that you've learned. Take a look around and see how the women in your life are being treated, their contributions, good and bad, right? So, because there's so much that we do that our work is not valued or purposely devalued. Our contributions are not recognized or purposely dismissed or ignored. And so we cannot continue to operate in that way. And the more that we call attention to that, the better off that we will all be. Everyone wins when women win. Okay. So just that is what I want you to do this month. That means if you want to volunteer, if you want to donate to a women's shelter around you, obviously reading books by women, right? Go volunteer for to within a food pantry, which often serve more women than men. If you have clothes that you want to donate, think about if you have some business items or want to go purchase and donate, do that as well. If you are in a position to work with kids or in an area where there may be a lot of children, look up what girls sports there are. Go be a referee, go be a coach, because what we have seen statistically, right? Research shows that once girls stop playing sports in around middle school, they never pick them back up. Okay. And so team sports teach a lot of things. Sports are great for girls, sports are great for women, right? So make sure that you are doing your part to support them in any way, shape, or form that makes sense, that you are able to contribute all through the month of March and beyond, but definitely starting with March. And with that, I am going to leave y'all because I am going to be celebrating. And if you want to hit me up or on socials, if you want to chat more about maybe some of the experiences that women are having around, confidence gap, pay parity, glass ceiling, sticky floor, trap doors. I got all the terms. I know them all. We can talk about that. So if y'all want to do that, of course, look me up on LinkedIn. You can also reach out to me on Instagram at Carbonated Sunshine. Just hit me up in the comments here, right? We can chat about it wherever. I'm always down to discuss. Make sure that you are going to KMOB 1003 to see what, not only to listen to good tunes, but to see what is going on next in March for the station. And we are so excited to have you here as always. And with that, I will see you Tuesday for more empowering conversations that lead to empowered experiences. Thanks, y'all. Bye.